bit younger and didn't have the types of injuries you've had lately?
You know, it's been really positive. You know, I kind of secluded myself to my training partners, to my trainers, and myself. You know, I get to see my boys, you know, an hour, maybe 2 hours a day. Weekends I get to keep them, and this really has been focused on strictly my training camp. Being healthy for this one has been a blessing in disguise. You know, I've gone through some serious surgeries, some surgeries that usually stop pretty much every athlete that I'd ever want to compete after the surgeries I've had. And thank God to Dr. William Smith out here in Las Vegas to doing the surgeries he did. I'm capable to wrestle, run, do my strength and conditioning, my sparring, you know, my boxing, kickboxing, jiu-jitsu, everything I've been doing prior to my injuries at 100%, and it feels good. I feel really, really strong. I'm in shape. I feel, you know, a lot stronger than I felt in a long time. I got some weight in my legs finally, and you know, I feel confident. Really confident.
Not only you're older, you're obviously also wiser. Could you say that you also train as hard, or do you train smarter?
I train smarter now. You know, I kind of took a page out of Randy Couture's book of the older you get, the more you don't have to put in. You gotta understand, when I started this game back in '97, I only trained 6 months prior. I never had any amateur fights, no pro fights, nothing. First UFC fight I fought was in the UFC. That was it. I never fought anywhere else. So I was always trying to put in the training to get my competition level at the peak of everybody else we're at. Now that I've already been doing that for the last 15 years, 14 years, it's smarter training now. It's getting the right mindset of pushing myself as possible, I mean, as hard as possible throughout the, you know, I'm only getting ready for a 15-minute fight, but I'm ready for a 30-minute fight, you know, doing 5-5s, we're doing 5 to 6 5s every training, my strength and conditioning, my sparring, my wrestling, everything, so I feel in really good shape with just, like I say, more quality than quantity.
Tito, I've seen you mention that you kind of feel like you were one of the last guys standing when you look back on some of you know, the bigger opponents of your career. That a lot of them are retired by now. I just wondered if you could kind of comment on what you thought of the end of the careers of maybe Chuck Liddell and Randy Couture. You know, how emotionally, how did that affect you watching it?
It sucked, you know. I mean, watching Chuck go out the way he did. I mean, people, yeah, say we have our bad blood towards each other, but at the beginning of all this, before this company even got big, before this business even got big, me and Chuck were friends. I mean, we're the first Team Punishment members, and to see him go out the way he did, it sucked, you know. I mean, you can even ask Dana. I was probably one of the first guys to go. Is Chuck cool? Is he all right? Is he okay? I mean, I was concerned about him. Seeing Randy go out the way he did, it was heartfelt. You know, I've always looked to Randy as, you know, kind of a role model in my life. I'm trying to be the best I possibly can be, kind of being like Randy. And to see him go the way he went out, it sucked. I mean, to be one of the guys to be, I mean, Randy fought our first time in the UFC. I mean, he fought prior, but our first main event was in the UFC. He was a heavyweight, I was at lightweight, or light heavy, which was middleweight back then. And to see him go out the way he did, it sucks. But I don't know, I think I still got a lot more fight in me. I mean, I'm not going, well, I'm going out on my own terms and I'm retiring and that's done. No, I want to fight. I fight the top competitors. I fight the top guys in the world. Every one of my fights, even my last 4 losses, I fought the top guys in the world. Rashad Evans, I fought. Ended up a split decision, or excuse me, a draw, which I thought I beat him. He goes on to win the light heavyweight world title. But Cheetah, yeah, he got the better of me in the first 3 rounds. Last 30 seconds, I almost had him. He goes on to win the light heavyweight world title. Forrest Griffin, after my back surgery, I come back and compete against him, and you know, he was a former world champion. I thought I beat him in a split decision, but they gave it to him, which was fine. Matt Hamill, a little better wrestler than me. I did honestly respect his takedown, and he beat me by a takedown. I fight the top guys in the world. Once again, fighting Ryan Bader, top 5 in the world. He's a tough competitor. I have nothing bad to say about the guy. He's an awesome competitor, an awesome guy. And you know, Saturday night, I'm going to show that I'm the better man.
What's your reaction to anybody who would you know, ask you retirement questions at this point in your career? Do you get kind of annoyed that they're talking about you when you have a fight scheduled, or do you understand why people are kind of bringing the subject up?
Well, I guess it could be worse. I could be like other fighters, and when they're not scheduled at all, they don't get paid attention to it at all. I mean, people pay attention to me. They want to see me fight. They want to know what I'm doing next. And I come in and I compete and I put on a show. You know, I give my heart and soul. I wear my heart on my shoulder, man. I don't hold anything back. I say it how it is, and when it's fight time, people want to watch. You know, hopefully this pay-per-view will be huge and show that all the rest of the guys on this card that we could sell some great pay-per-view and do what we do best as fighters, and that's put on the show.
My last question, I wonder, how are fans treating you these days? I mean, you hear in this sport all the time, the fans are fickle and you're only good as your last fight. You've kind of been a guy who's been through some peaks and valleys. How have the fans kind of stuck with you, or do you feel that there's some truth in that they're fickle and they're kind of turned on you at this point?
Well, I think I got to correct you a little bit. I don't think it's peaks and valleys. I think it was heaven and hell. And I think I've made it to its maximum potential at both ends. But I take it in stride, man. My skin's really, really thick, and I got a strong head on my shoulders, and a big head, of course. But the negative stuff is something that's drawn me my whole life. You know, you gotta understand, I was a kid who came from the streets, where people told me I was a piece of shit for the rest of my life, that I wasn't gonna add up to anything at all. Look at me now. I proved them wrong. I have achieved many things that many people never thought I could even achieve. Now do people say, yeah, you're a piece of shit, you're not a good fighter, you fought nothing but gimmies, and this, look at my career, look at my record, look at who I fought. Has any other light heavyweight ever defend their titles more than me? No. They can try to shut me down, they can try to shut me up, but when I speak, my words speak in volumes, and I make sure that I say what's on my mind, man. And I fight with my heart, as they say. And all those naysayers, those aren't the guys that get in the gym and push themselves for 5-5s, ain't getting taken down, ain't getting punched in the face. And the critics get to be critics. That's why they're called critics, because they don't get in the cage and they don't fight.
Tito, from Frank Shamrock to Randy Couture to Chuck Liddell, the names are endless. It's always big fight after big fight after big fight. But on Saturday night against Ryan Bader, where do you rank this fight? Is this the biggest fight of your career right now?
The biggest fight of my career, 100%. Every fight's the biggest fight of my career. The one in front of me is the one that put me up and over. And this fight will put me up and over more than anything, I think. A lot of people shut up. I got to do my job by doing that. But a lot of fans who have supported me, you know, through my Twitter at Tito Ortiz, the fans support me. They got my back. They say, Tito, no matter what, man, you're a true champion. You know, you're a legend of the sport. You should be in the Hall of Fame. And I sit back and I just let my fight do the talking. You know, before I would let my mouth do the talking, and I let my fight put on a show. This fight, I ain't gonna talk nothing bad about Ryan. I'm gonna celebrate for him either way. For me, it's my job is to go and get my hand raised.
Hi Tito, if I could ask you two questions. One, you know, another fighter on this card is in a similar situation to you as Vanderlei. And I wonder, as a guy that has fought Vanderlei, when you look at him and where he's at this stage of his career, where do you see of him, and do you draw any parallels between yourself and him where he is?
Yeah, Vanderlei, man, he's an animal. He's one of the best at, was it middleweight? One of the best guys at middleweight. I mean, he's tough. He hits like a ton of bricks. He has a huge heart, and he goes in battling. Once again, he goes in and he puts on a show. Ever since back in the Pride days, since I beat him for the light heavyweight title in the beginning, we've put on a show. And Vanderlei is a really, really tough guy, and I wish very, very huge success to him. You know, I don't want to see any fighter in this game fail. I want to see him to succeed and become great in the sport. Vanderlei is one of the top guys right now, I think, at middleweight. And I wish him nothing but, you know, luck.
And this is just something, there was a video online of you at the Fighter Summit. I think Roy Nelson shot it of you in Montreal. Can you explain what was going on in that? And you seem like you had a problem with him.
Come on, you're the head of Yahoo, dude. You have read all the stories already?
I just want to get it from your work.
Well, people go online and check it out. I'm sick of wasting energy about that cat, man. I've said my piece, you know. You don't disrespect a person's wife or family or girlfriend or anything at all. And as a man in this sport, mixed martial arts, you gotta be professional. And he was unprofessional and very disrespectful towards me. If he wants to talk shit about me, call me a pussy, call me, you know, I never fought anybody, I'm not a tough guy, cool, do that. Don't talk about my shit, man. And for someone to be disrespectful like that, it is what it is. It'll all come around, you know, karma always comes around, it always gets people in the ass. And as I said, I gave him his 15 seconds of fame out of my mouth, and I'll no longer do that.
Tito, you're fighting Ryan Bader, who's coming off his first loss. Do you expect him to come in with a mindset that he's not invincible anymore, maybe his confidence will be down, or do you expect him to come out trying to atone for that loss?
You answered your own question. Maybe we're not all invincible. Maybe you're not going to get all the takedowns. I ain't going to let him take me down. Do I break his spirit by doing that? And I see a lot of mistakes that he has in his game when he fights. I'm going to push the tempo. I'm not going to sit back and throw kicks and slaps and punches. I'm going to come in aggressive, and I'm going to fight. I'm going to put my sword up, and I'm going to battle.
You've had a very public, personal life for the last, especially a couple months. Do you look at this as a way to kind of divert your focus and put all your attention into the fight and training camp?
Well, last month I pretty much cleaned it out. I was done. as I said at the very beginning, I kind of just been focusing on my fighting. And that's what it's been about. And it's been hard, you know. I go home and I don't have conversations with my girl because it's focus time. I have something big in front of me. I have something a lot of people prove wrong. I have a lot of people prove right. And I apologize to all my fans. I apologize to all you people. I probably shouldn't have said some of my stuff on Twitter and said the things I said, but you gotta understand, I come and I have nothing, no one behind me. I don't have a family. I have myself. You know, I have a couple friends that work and people on Twitter. Maybe they have the same associations in life that I go through. And maybe I can ask questions and help me through the challenging times that I had going through a relationship. But I think the best thing that I've learned out of it was not to say anything at all, and to take it and use my thick skin and use my head on my shoulders and get through it. Because all of us, as men, as women, we all can get through every relationship just as long as we keep our head strong and battle through it. And to me right now, it's all about this fight. And that's what meant the most to me. You know, I gotta pay for my children, I gotta make sure that they have a house over their head, they got clothes on their back, they got food in their mouths. And being a loving father, being everything my father ever was, is what I'm gonna be. And whatever it takes for me to do that, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna achieve it no matter what.